The best time to begin building a startup. Waiting until the fundraising market timing is just right is something you might be thinking about as you decide to launch your startup or raise your next round of funding. However, that doesn't answer the question of what is the best time to begin building a startup. That's the question I'll answer in today's video. I'll look at the pros and cons of building a company and raising money in an up market. Then I'll look at the pros and cons of building a company and raising money in a down market. Finally, I'll explain when I think the best time is for you to begin building your startup. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started, and let's start with what are the pros and cons of building a company and raising money in an up market. The startup economy, just like the economy in general, goes through ups and downs. The only difference is the ups and downs in the startup economy are bigger. For example, during the startup bubble of the late 1990s, the solar boom of the 2000s, and the recent AI bubble, it was somewhat easy to raise money. Plus, valuations are usually higher during a booming market. Those are the big positives about raising money in a booming market. Sounds like an up market is a great time to start a company, doesn't it? But before you vote, let's look at the cons of starting a company in a booming market. The first one is that investors see huge markets where they could make a lot of money, somewhat predictably. There was an overinvestment in each of the spaces I just listed, so too many startups were funded. This means there's more competition than normal in the space. At some point, gravity will set in, and lots of these startups that were funded during the boom will die. The second issue is the sky-high valuations for the surviving companies will come down to earth too. So, just because your company has $1 billion valuation doesn't mean your next round will have a $5 billion valuation. Indeed, you might have a flat round or a down round where the valuation drops. It's not ideal, but it's what happens. Third, the competition for top talent is always fierce, but booms make the talent competition even tougher. Everything is costlier and tougher to get during a boom. Remember that. Now, let's look at the other side of the coin. What are the pros and cons of building a company and raising money during a down market? I started my company in arguably the worst down market of the last 50 years, the 2008 Great Recession. The pros are that only the truly committed startup CEOs, that means crazy people, are trying to start companies in very bad markets. So there is less competition for money. And if you can actually raise money, then you have the wind at your back. The competition for talent is less. It's easier to find office space, and vendors are going to want to work with you because business is down. Sometimes it's tough to get vendors to work with your startup in an up market because they can be choosier with who they work with. The other benefit is that the market for your product or service will likely be improving through the early life of your company, so demand will be constantly improving. The cons are it's really, really, really hard to raise money. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. It took us 2 years to raise our initial funding of $12 million. 63 investors turned us down. Just to give another flavor of how difficult it was to raise money, we were the only semiconductor company to receive Series A funding in the Silicon Valley that year. The only one. So the bar is really, really high. It's much easier for an investor to pass on investing because the herd mentality is now pushing investors not to invest. And as you can imagine, the deal terms are not going to be great in a down market because the market dynamics favor the investors. Now we've examined what it's like to build a company in an up market and a down market. And this leads to our final point. When is the best time for you to begin building your startup? I am currently working with 2 companies that are worth over $1 billion. One company was started during a boom, and the other company was started during a down market. Both companies have executed really well. The competition both companies face is intense. Both companies have overcome significant challenges to get to where they are now. And there will be more challenges to come for both companies. My point is this: the success of these companies had very little, if anything, to do with when they started. Instead, the success of both companies had to do with the fanaticism and character of both CEOs. For example, one of Ray's initial investors tried to block Ray from closing his second round of funding. It took Ray's sheer will and determination to overcome the investor and get the round closed. Chuck had to pitch over 200 investors to close his funding. Ray and Chuck are also similar in the integrity they have shown as they've built their companies. Every step of the way, they've operated at an unbelievably high ethical standard. This leads directly to my one final thought that we'll get to in a second. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. One final thought. The most important component of success isn't the market or the market timing. The most important component of success is you, your team, and your company culture. The best time to start your company is when you're ready. It shouldn't be based on market timing because markets can change instantaneously. So don't worry about it. Instead, focus on the things you can control, just like Ray and Chuck did. Build your company the right way. Have a great team of committed co-founders to work with. Act with integrity at all times. Focus on your company culture. Building a commitment culture where no employee wants to leave is shown to significantly improve your chances of startup success. That's how you win. So make the best of whatever the market conditions are during the life of your startup. Now, what did you learn from today's video? Put your answer in the comments column below today's video. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments column too, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now, I have one more thing for you today. It's my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Click the link below today's video and it's yours for free. And if you haven't already, join my free group of startup CEOs called Zero to Pitch. It's a community for startup CEOs focusing on growing their early stage startups and startup CEOs raising money for their early stage startups. Click the link below this video to join. Finally, click the subscribe button to get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.